Antarctica, the White Continent, is known to be the world's coldest, driest and iciest region. This is a continent or a block of ice that is home to a place filled with mystery and intricacy. This is an icy world, and it holds the key to understanding how climate change affects planet Earth. Antarctica is facing something terrible, and the fact is that no one knows why. In this video, we're going to dive deep into what Antarctica is facing. The White Continent. The White Continent is the world's 5th largest continent, located at the planet's south pole and covering approximately 14 million square kilometres. 98% of the geographic area is covered by ice, and the average thickness is about 1.6 kilometres. The world owes 90% of its ice to Antarctica. And did you know that Antarctica is considered to be a desert? So, now let us move on to the issues that Antarctica is facing. Don't you want to know more about the hurdles? Then stay tuned until the end of this video. Global warming. The melting of glaciers is one of the first things that crosses our minds when we think about global warming, isn't it? Now, these glaciers are melting 6 times more rapidly than they did 40 years ago. This is nothing but the result of rising ocean temperatures. According to NASA, the White Continent is losing about 252 gigatons of ice annually. This is equivalent to losing 3.5 Olympic swimming pools, that too in a second. That's an eye-opener. Antarctic ice sheet. Antarctica is a region that is dominated by the Antarctic ice sheet, which is the single largest piece of ice known to exist. This ice sheet tends to extend outside the continent, from 1.2 million square miles at the end of summer to 7.3 million square miles by winter. Isn't that astonishing? The Antarctic region is indeed a crucial region that shapes the planet's overall climate. The thermal balance, which is the ratio between the amount of solar energy absorbed by the Earth's atmosphere and the amount of heat reflected into outer space, is also heavily determined by the Antarctic continent. Climate change. Now, NASA researchers have discovered something jaw-dropping about Antarctica. Don't you want to know what they found? They discovered that more ice is now forming in certain regions of Antarctica, which is a result of climate change. There have been claims that this is the result of new climate patterns caused by climate change. The polar vortex is a wind pattern that is extremely powerful and is produced by similar processes. The polar vortex winds reduce the temperatures of the Antarctic due to their strength. Collapse of ice shelves. Scientists have warned that an ice shelf from the Antarctic could collapse within the short period of the coming 10 years. This will result in the slipping in of a glacier similar to the size of Florida, and will increase sea levels by several feet. You don't want that to happen, do you? According to Aaron Pettit, an expert in glacier and ice sheet dynamics at Oregon State University, a major chain reaction could begin with the Thwaites Glacier by 2031. Within 5 years, a large portion of the shelf could be demolished due to the massive fissure in the floating ice of Antarctica's Thwaites Glacier. If this occurs, then the glacier could release a plethora of icebergs and begin flowing into the ocean much faster. This would contribute drastically to the rise of sea level, and the fact is that Thwaites was previously considered to be a relatively stable area, but things have changed. The Thwaites. Scientists have been monitoring the Thwaites Glacier closely, and the glacier already loses about 50 billion tonnes of ice annually and contributes 4% to sea level rise. This has been continuing for decades. Now, Thwaites has lately been shown to have deep moving cracks over the past few years, and their expansion seems to be accelerating. Scientists had also identified a zigzag pattern that, according to them, is the most likely location for the ice shelter fracture. This was according to Ted Scambos, a senior research scientist at the Cooperative Institute for Research in Environmental Sciences and a collaborator in this study. He says that the Thwaites is the widest glacier in the world, and it has nearly doubled its outflow speeds within the last 30 years. Scientists analysed some old aerial photographs of Antarctica from the 1970s and compared them with recent radar data. What they discovered was that Thwaites melted far more quickly than they had anticipated. Did you know that if Thwaites collapsed, the majority of West Antarctica's ice would be washed away? And as a result of that, not just Antarctica, but the entire world would be sinking into a cold, aqueous solution. With the help of satellite radar imagery over the past few years, there have been revelations of new fissures developing in the Thwaites. As years pass by, several kilometres of area are being covered by these fissures as they continue spreading throughout the ice. Crumbling of ice shelves. The British Antarctic Survey estimates that this glacier is responsible for 4% of the annual sea level rise. But things don't stop there. If the shelf gives way, the 4% estimate could soar up to reach a mind-blowing 25%. Believe me, that's going to be an earth-shattering event. You might be wondering, what would happen if the Thwaites Glacier melted completely? This would cause the sea level to rise by 2 feet, but that's a small chapter of this big story. The complete melting of the Thwaites Glacier could also lead to the melting of other adjacent glaciers, and things are just going to get a lot worse. If other adjacent glaciers also melt, then the sea level can rise by 10 feet globally. Various factors can affect how ice shelves crumble, and it is unclear how these changes occur. Some of these factors include the rate at which warm water melts the floating portion of the glacier's bottom, as well as the geometry of how an ice land like Antarctica and water interact with each other. Ocean tides cause the floating portion of the Thwaites to rise at high tide and fall at low tide. This was according to a recent discovery made by the team. The detached iceberg. This year, something shocking took place that astonished the world. Want to know what this was? Well, a massive iceberg that was approximately 1.5 times the size of Greater Paris had detached from the Brunt ice shelf in Antarctica. The Copernicus Sentinel-1 mission has recently taken photos that provide us a look into the 1,270 square kilometre iceberg that is breaking free and moving away from the ice shelf rapidly. The ecosystem within. Scientists have discovered an ecosystem that hid in an underground river that runs about 1/3 of a mile below the Antarctic ice sheet. Underneath these ice shelves, which cover 600,000 square miles of ocean, may be the least explored underwater environments on the planet. Don't you agree? You might be astonished to know that though marine species like bryozoan sponges and jellyfish should, in theory, become much scarcer in the open sea, the fact is that these animals prey on microscopic organisms like ciliates and dinoflagellates, which are carried away by ocean currents beneath the ice shelf. These organisms adhere to the ground and don't have large bodies filled with various tissues which require a lot of energy. This is why these animals can live on the meagre amounts of food they receive. Here is something interesting about these animals. Carbon dating has shown that these animals are not new dwellers on these ice shelves. We appear to have a long way to go in discovering the secrets of the White Continent. Well, it is these pristine environments that could be the first among others to disappear due to the harsh climate change that is driven by humans. These distinct habitats risk disappearing because the Antarctic ice sheet melts further. The fact is that once the ecosystem is lost, it is irretrievable. Without a doubt, the discovery of any form of life beneath Antarctica demonstrated that there is a massive form of ecology beneath the ice. Conclusion. Well, Antarctica might be concealing a world within a world, and it's just a matter of time before we get to know more about it. But the main concern is not exploration, but rather the problems that Antarctica is facing. Human activities have made the living ice age of the Earth vulnerable. This has not only put the future of Antarctica at stake, but also the future of the entire Earth. The way ahead for Antarctica does not seem easy, as human activities against Mother Nature are just increasing day by day. Now, we have reached the conclusion of today's video, and it's time for us to wrap up. I hope you all enjoyed this video and learned something new. We'll meet you all again in another video, and until then, goodbye fellas.